A week ago, I started my first playthrough on Terraria. Now, as of yesterday, we have officially unlocked hard mode by beating the wall of flesh. But you see, everybody in my comments is telling me different ways to stop the corruption from spreading. And it is confusing the hell out of me, because then they're also saying there's something called the hollow that's spreading, but I don't know what the dangers are. I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna watch 2 videos and to help me explain it, and yeah, let's get into it. I'm praying there's no big spoilers in this, but it's just how to stop evil biomes from spreading Terraria. By the way, this video is by Diaper Loser if you want to check it out. But I'm assuming there's gonna be some like minor spoilers, but it's nothing gonna be too serious. Like it might be just some like later game tactics to do the same thing, but my comment section already kind of spoils stuff like that.
Having a fully purified world is one of the hardest and
I did not even know it was an achievement.
Accomplish in Terraria. This video will be a comprehensive guide as to how evil biomes spread, how they affect your world, and the best.
Holy crap, is that the Crimson biome? I actually it looks so much scarier than the corrupted one. What the hell? It also actually looks just better overall. It looks less annoying to traverse because, bro, oh my god. The corrupted biome, I just fall down humongous ass holes non-stop. It is the most annoying thing ever.
Ways to combat the spread. Biome spread starts immediately upon generation. It's sped up after defeating the wall of flesh, initiating hard mode, and slowed down after defeating Plantera for the first time.
Okay, I just got a boss named Plantera spoiled to me, but I don't know how to do it. I don't... But really, my world has been spreading still. Like, people have said that, but I just have not seen that. It's so weird to me because I feel like my corrupted place has stayed in the same place this entire time.
Once hard mode begins, the world evil biomes and the newly introduced hollow biome have few restrictions on their spread, and without player effort will eventually take over almost the entire world between them.
What is this?
So how do evil biomes actually form and spread? Once your world is generated, it usually contains 2 sections of either crimson or corruption, more or less
Crimson
based
looks
on
way
the world
better.
size. Evil biome spread is very minimal and only infects a couple of blocks in every game day. It infects adjacent grass blocks and spreads through vines. Stone, sand, ice, and other blocks become the infected variants. Biome spread is the last of your worries during pre-hard mode. You've got bigger problems and goals to complete, like making it to hard mode. Which brings us to our second point, what happens after pre-hard mode. After beating the wall of flesh for the first time and entering hard mode, many changes to your world occurs instantly. Immediately after defeating the wall of flesh for the first time, the evil biome infection rate doubles, infecting a lot more rapidly than before. The new evil biome, the hollow, is introduced, and spreads at the same rate as the crimson or corruption.
Evil? Look at this place. You're telling me this is considered an evil biome? This place looks like the most magical and wonderful place I've ever seen. And there's unicorns? I didn't even know there was unicorn. What are these blocks at the bottom?
It takes up a part of the forest biome, usually at the center of the map, and extends through the world. The last and probably biggest change is the world generates an infected V-shape in the center of the world, paving its way through and infecting every block. Okay, so we know after we defeat the wall of flesh, a lot of major changes happen to our world. And if we don't deal with this sooner or later, it will completely ruin our world. And I'll get to the effects of it in a little bit later. In order to revert the accelerated speed of evil biome spread, you're required to defeat Plantera.
I'm gonna skip. I don't want to know how to do this yet.
Which brings us to the last part of the video. How do we actually stop the spread? The first thing to do before hard mode is create a 3-block gap between your corruption or crimson biome. This will make sure they won't spread because either crimson, corruption, or the hollow can't spread through a 3-block wide space. And after the wall of flesh has been defeated, create more gaps in the newly created V-shape of infected blocks. You can identify where this is by looking up your world on terramap.com, which is like a GitHub website. It's actually really useful. You could see literally everything on your world. With these infected parts boarded off, they will be unable to infect blocks outside the region, making the infection more contained. Now, to actually get rid of the infection, you will need to buy a Contaminator and...
What? I'm so confused, bro. Okay, so the hollow's bad too. Okay, so it starts in a V shape. So I was told though by people to use dig toys, but dig toys only does in one direction. So if it's in a V shape, this is gonna be so incredibly annoying to cut off. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's gonna take like hours and hours. Is this something that's necessary to do, like to keep my world for at least like a little bit longer? Like how many hours do I have before it's fully consumed? That's what I need to know.
Also note that the larger your world, the harder it will be to fully purify it. A large world has about 4 times more blocks than small worlds, and large worlds already have like 20 million blocks. It's kind of crazy. This is a big difference, so consider this if you are intending on purifying a certain world. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like.
Alright, let's move on to video number 2. That's why I haven't watched any videos on this, and that's why I'm recording this, just because, like, if there is spoilers, I want it to be known that I've been spoiled certain things, and, like, that's the reason why I know. I don't even remember the boss's name. I used to remember it was, like, some vine thing underground, and it slows down corruption, I think he said. But, it's okay. I don't really care. Like, people have said other stuff.
Biome spread is one of the most hated mechanics in Terraria by far. There are so many people out there who will tell you it's a reason that they don't even like the game, while others will tell you that it's actually an underrated mechanic and people are complaining a bit too much. So, is biome spread really that bad, or is it actually a good mechanic? Let's talk about it. I think we should start by talking about what biome spread tries.
I'll give my take. Even though I haven't seen it yet. I feel like it's really cool. I just think that there should be an easier way to combat it, but I also don't really know how to combat it, because everywhere I go, people are telling me that you have to make like a 5-block gap in between the biome you want to conserve and then like the corrupted or the hollow. But in the last video, the guy said 3-block gap. So now I'm like super confused because people are giving me different numbers. And if it's 5 blocks, that makes it 400 times harder. Okay, not 400 times, but like 2 times as hard. Even more than that if I'm using dig toys. But if there is easier ways, I think this is a super cool mechanic. I just think as a beginner, it's definitely a lot more confusing, and that's why I have to go to here, because people have scared me with what they say happens.
I think we should start by talking about what biome spread tries to do, because it's not like it's in the game for no reason. It adds a layer of pressure and urgency to every playthrough. It doesn't feel like your world is just static and nothing is going on. There's constantly the thought in the back of your mind that if you don't make progress, your world could just get overtaken. This is exaggerated in early hard mode when it really does become an actual problem. If you don't pay attention to your world for long enough, or you don't make quick enough progress to reach the contaminator, your world might just get ruined. That pressure can be bad for a lot of reasons, and we'll bring that up pretty soon, but it can also be very good. Somebody who wants a reason to continue making progress or wants their world to feel more alive might like biome spread. I think somebody could view it as another challenge that's actually unique. You know, it's not just boss 27 or something like that, or your next item that you're gonna grind for 3 hours. It's a completely new and unique challenge that many other games don't even have anything similar to. I mean, seriously, it's not really that normal for sandbox games to have mechanics like biome spread, so it can make Terraria feel more unique. It's sort of a part of its identity at this point. Now, with that being said, I think those are really the only arguments I've seen for people who like biome spread, because in all honesty...
See, I think what he said, they are all good things. It's just, I think it's a lot easier to say if you're a newer player. Like, if you're like me doing a blind playthrough, or semi-blind. I mean, like, this is kind of making it not blind, but I don't... I'd rather not ruin the world, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's a really cool mechanic, and I think actually what would make sense in my head, because most people that play this game that like aren't on their first playthrough, I see all play like expert or master mode. Unless it already is like this, I think they should just make it a lot slower in like the beginner mode and then just faster in the other ones. But I could be mistaken, that could already be a thing.
Because in all honesty, it's not a great mechanic, and there are a lot of reasons for that. For an average normal player, or even an experienced veteran, it can be extremely unnecessarily punishing. When you go into early hard mode, you're basically forced into mining all of the hard mode ores, making progress, fighting one or maybe multiple mechanical bosses just so you can get the contaminator, which costs a bunch of money, also that you can make sure that the corruption doesn't take over your world. For a lot of people, that can feel like a totally unnecessary challenge, more of a chore than a challenge if anything. And that's really the biggest problem with the mechanic. And another issue is that it can straight up destroy important biomes, which in all honesty I don't think it should. Biome spread really isn't horrible as a whole, and I think as a concept it could work, but it definitely needs some changes, and one of the biggest ones is it should not take over the jungle as quickly as it does. You can use the contaminator to reverse the effects of the corruption on the jungle, but I really don't think that's really an inconvenience that most people should have to go through in the first place. The most frustrating thing that can happen to you in Terraria ever is when you're in a normal old playthrough, you defeat the wall of flesh, and you see that your jungle has been corrupted. Genuinely, it is so frustrating when this happens, and for whatever reason, it happens quite often. And the final problem with biome spread that is very important is that the game does a very bad job at communicating it to you through the game. If you're a completely new Terraria player who hasn't really played the game a lot, doesn't have a lot of friends telling you what to do, and doesn't check the wiki, you're gonna have no idea how biome spread works, and that's going to give it a much better chance of ruining everything. One could argue that Terraria has a big problem with beginner friendliness in general, and that's definitely true, but I don't don't think somebody could really use that as an argument to defend biome spread being so vague. Obviously, all of us Terraria players know how the mechanic works, but a lot of new players don't, and then a lot of players, when they figure out how it works, are completely turned off because it's so unnecessarily punishing. So in conclusion, is biome spread actually that bad? Yes, I think it kind of is. I see why a few people definitely like it, but I think for the vast majority of players, it feels more like a chore or a slog than an actual fun challenge. But what do you think about biome spread? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, make sure.
Alright, well I think this guy had a really good video. His name was Hudson J. But yeah, this definitely has made me feel, I guess, a little better, but it's kind of reinforced the fact that this is something urgent that I'm going to have to work on in the next few videos. Because if I didn't check this out, and if people didn't leave comments, I would have never even noticed until it was too late. So I'm very thankful I did. But yeah, now I'm actually really scared. I really hope this doesn't ruin the playthrough. If you are new here and you're interested in my Terraria playthrough, I'd recommend checking my channel, my main channel. This is the second one. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.